Welcome back, fellow shop rats. It's another Talk About It Tuesday, and today we're going to discuss a question that was asked by my friend Squirrel over in the community tab in response to my question, what are some great Talk About It Tuesday episode subjects? So here we go. Let's get into it. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop. First of all, if you haven't checked out Squirrel's channel, go do that. There's a link down in the description on this video. There always is. He's got good stuff over there. So his question, in essence, and I didn't read it before I started the video, was how do you select a project car when parts aren't available and trim's not available, and what's my idea on that? Well, yeah, first of all, he knows where I'm coming from, but if you've been around the channel for any time, I don't really look at obstacles when I look at a project. I look at price and how much I want the car. Other than that, the rest is just details to figure out. Now, there are considerations, of course, like the 70 Stitches Challenger. Everything is available, well, was available for that car for the most part up until recent years when all these supply shortages happened and parts availability and etc. But it didn't matter to me. Yes, I did consider just writing a one big fat check to AMD and getting everything I needed to do that car. But I decided early on that was going to be a showcase car for fabrication, because that's what I love doing. And in fact, I decided that's what I was doing pretty much even before I knew I was going to be doing a YouTube channel. So, in answer to his question, I don't really consider that a whole lot, because it's not a matter of if parts are available, it's just a matter of what I have to go through to find them should I need them, or what I have to go through to make them if I can't find them. But pretty much everything is out there somewhere in some form used. Now there's a second question that we can look at also in relation to that. The second question is, what other parts are available that are similar that I could make work? So let me give you an example. Many years ago when I was working in the hot rod shop locally here, we did a 71 Super Bee big block 4-speed car, and at the time there were no quarter panels available for a 71 Super Bee. However, if you know that car at all, you will know that a 73 Charger quarter panel is similar. Body lines are in a different place, but the overall shape and form is the same. And so, because I was working in a professional shop and the customer didn't want to spend all the time it would take me to fabricate an entire quarter panel, we opted to buy the 73 Charger quarter panel. And then I just tink, 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 and tapped out the body line that was there and made it nice and smooth and rebent the body line where it belonged in its proper location and made a 73 Charger quarter panel work on a 71 Super Bee. Now, yes, I had a fair whack of time into it, and, well, my paycheck never did reflect that, but that's another story. Don't get me started on that one. Point being is, if you're willing to be creative, there may be off-the-shelf parts that are similar enough that you can rework them and use them for what you want. Now, the other piece he was asking about was trim. There's a lot of trim out there on cars in junkyards that needs some work, but probably could be usable. The Fat Fanny Ford that I have, I opted and bought all brand new Bob Drake stainless for that car. The stainless that was on it wasn't terrible, but it did need a lot of work. I wasn't as skilled with stainless back in those days. That was almost 20 years ago. And I just really didn't feel comfortable trying to fix all of that stainless with what I knew at that time. So I opted to go brand new. Plus, I felt the car really deserved to have the good stainless on it. However, I was looking at that stainless the other day going, this stuff really isn't that bad. And most of it could have been fixed and looked very respectable on the car. So part of Squirrel's question, answering it for yourself, is, am I willing to learn the skills to make those damaged or imperfect used parts work on my project? As I said, I'm never afraid to look at a project and say, oh yeah, I can do that. I remember looking at a 20-something Dodge when I was elk hunting in New Mexico many years ago. It was bad. I mean, for me to say it was bad, it was bad. And I tried every way I could figure out how to get that car out of there, get it on a trailer, and haul it back to Michigan, because I wanted to make a hot rod out of that car. Now, it was going to be 80 or 90% fabricating. There was a few pieces that could work as a pattern. The frame was basically there, but I probably would have built a box tube frame anyway. But there was enough there to inspire me to start building a really cool 26 Dodge Hot Rod. And I wasn't intimidated by that at all. Now my wife knows me well enough to know, as we talked about it, and we did discuss it seriously, how we could get it home, she didn't question for 1 second the sanity of, well, she might have questioned the sanity, but she didn't want for 1 second question my ability to get the project done. And the price was right. It would have been free.
Come on, Mike. Get to the point. Answer Squirrel's question.
I think in general, the best answer that I could give Squirrel on his question is, do I want to buy the stuff I need to do this project, or am I willing to put in the sweat equity and learn the skills to do this project? Neither answer is right or wrong. Both answers are ones that have to fit you, and you may be somewhere in between there. Like even on stitches, I did not make quarter panels just for simplicity. I just bought the cheapest pieces of garbage I could find and welded them on there because I knew with the complexity of those quarter panels, it was just easier. I've made quarter panels before, but I chose to buy those because for the amount of time and metal it would take, it was almost cheaper just to buy the cheap import parts like that for that car. So I think that kind of what it comes down to is, if I can't find, for example, trim parts, stainless parts, whatever it is I need, is there something I can adapt? Is there a way I can make it custom? Do I go like just shave the whole thing and take all the trim off the car? I think those are decisions sometimes that when we're looking at a vehicle, the question to ask is, how much money and time am I willing to put into this? They're not the same. I can put in more time than money, or more money than time. If I say, yeah, I think this vehicle is worth my time and my money, recognizing that part of my time on this may very well be doing a ton of research and making a ton of connections and finding people who have access to the parts that we need for these cars. For example, my 26 Oakland, I've gotten connected with a guy who I consider now to be a friend, Wayne Koffel, out in Pennsylvania, and he has a huge amount of Oakland parts and access to parts, and also access to vendors that make new parts that work on these cars. So you build those connections as part of the project, and to me, that's kind of part of the fun of the whole thing. So I think those are the answers to ultimately answer Squirrel's question. It's just making a conscious decision that says, is this project worth the amount of blood, sweat, tears, and time I'm going to put into it to get it done? I've rarely seen a project car. I can't say that I've ever had one of my own that I didn't have a yes answer to that. And we may have gone higher dollar like we did on the Fat Fanny Ford, or low buck like we're doing on the 70 Challenger, or somewhere in the middle like we're doing on the Forsyth Duster. But there's always an answer. And all of those projects, and many, many more, are here on the channel in their own playlists, and you can view how we have done things on each of those cars. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks, Squirrel. I appreciate it.
Don't do it, Squirrel. Don't you do it. We'll catch you on the next one. That's an inside joke. Rock!